is the minimum, and the Buddha says a monk should be content with that. So for the Buddha, that is the middle path, but for a lot of people, it seems very ascetic. And then like begging for food, also the Buddha encouraged the monks to beg for food, to cut the ego, and not to be fussy about food. Whatever we get, we eat. So, and also give lay people a chance to plant blessings. So, because in the Buddha's teachings, a monk is not allowed to stay alone in the deep forest, because if a monk stays alone in the deep forest, he does not beg for his food, so he does not give lay people a chance to do merit. Like some of the external ascetics, they stay in the deep forest and they feed themselves on the roots and the leaves of plants and fruits and all that, which the Buddha also tried before. So later he says they can stay in the forest as long as they can come out and beg for their food. The next sutta is 16.7. At Rajagaha in the bamboo grove, then the Venerable Kassapa approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him and sat down to one side. The Blessed One then said to him, "Exhort the monks, Kassapa, give them a Dhamma talk. Either I should exhort the monks, Kassapa, or you should. Either I should give them a Dhamma talk, or you should." And Venerable Kassapa said, "Venerable Sir, the monks are difficult to admonish now, and they have qualities which make them difficult to admonish. They are impatient and do not accept instruction respectfully. Venerable Sir, for one who has no faith in regard to wholesome states, no sense of shame, no fear of wrongdoing, no energy, and no wisdom, whether day or night comes, only decline is to be expected in regard to wholesome states, not growth. Just as during the dark fortnight, whether day or night comes, the moon declines in color, circularity and luminosity, in diameter and circumference, so too, Venerable Sir, for one who has no faith in wholesome states, no sense of shame, no fear of wrongdoing, no energy and no wisdom, whether day or night comes, only decline is to be expected in regard to wholesome states, not growth. A person without faith, Venerable Sir, this is a case of decline. A person without a sense of shame, this is a case of decline. A person who is unafraid of wrongdoing, who is lazy, unwise, angry, malicious, this is a case of decline. When there are no monks who are exhorters, this is a case of decline. I'll stop here for a moment. So you see, even during the Buddha's time, there were a lot of rotten monks. So when the Buddha asked Venerable Kassapa to teach the monks Dhamma, the Buddha said, either you should teach or I should teach. It shows that the Buddha considers him. If the Buddha is not around, then he should take the Buddha's place. The Buddha has so much trust in him. But he says the monks now are not like before. They are very difficult to instruct. They are not respectful. They have no sense of shame, no fear of wrongdoing, no diligence, and so they keep declining. Then he continued, Venerable Sir, for one who has faith in regard to wholesome states, a sense of shame, fear of wrongdoing, energy and wisdom, whether day or night comes, only growth is to be expected in regard to wholesome states, not decline. Just as during the bright fortnight. This bright fortnight is in the Chinese calendar is Choyat to Sabmla, the 1st to the 15th day of the lunar calendar, when the sun when the moon waxes, becomes brighter and brighter and brighter. That is the bright fortnight. And the waning fortnight is the other one from the 16th until the 30th day of the lunar calendar, when the moon becomes smaller and smaller, less and less bright. So, just as during the bright fortnight, whether day or night comes, the moon grows in color, circularity and luminosity, in diameter and circumference, so too, Venerable Sir, for one who has faith in wholesome states, a sense of shame, fear of wrongdoing, energy and wisdom. Whether day or night comes, only growth is to be expected in regard to wholesome states, not decline. A person with faith, this is a case of non-decline. A person with a sense of shame, this is a case of non-decline. A person who is afraid of wrongdoing, who is energetic, wise, without anger, without malice, this is a case of non-decline. When there are monks who are exhorters, this is a case of non-decline. Good Kassapa. And then the Buddha repeated the entire statement of the Venerable Kassapa. That's the end of the sutta. So towards the end, he says also that if there are monks who are exhorters, that means if there are monks who teach the Dhamma, this is a case of non-decline. That means it's a case of progress. So when no monks teach the Dhamma, then the Dhamma will decline. So it's interesting to see here, even when the Buddha was alive and so many Arahants were alive, could read the monks' minds and all that, still you have a lot of rotten eggs among the monks. 16.8 At Rajagaha in the bamboo grove. Then the Venerable Kassapa approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him and sat down to one side. The Blessed One then said to him, "Exhort the monks, Kassapa, give them a Dhamma talk. Either I should exhort the monks, Kassapa, or you should. Either I should give them a Dhamma talk, or you should." And he said, "Venerable Sir, the monks are difficult to admonish now, and they have qualities which make them difficult to admonish. They are impatient and do not accept instruction respectfully." And then the Buddha said, "Just so, Kassapa, in the past, the elder monks were forest dwellers and spoke in praise of forest dwelling. They were alms food eaters and spoke in praise of eating alms food. They were rag robe wearers and spoke in praise of wearing rag robes. They were triple robe users and spoke in praise of using the triple robe. They were of few wishes and spoke in praise of fewness of wishes. They were content and spoke in praise of contentment. They were secluded and spoke in praise of solitude. They were aloof from society and spoke in praise of aloofness from society. They were energetic and spoke in praise of arousing energy." I'll stop here for a moment. So the Buddha also agreed with him. The Buddha said, formerly the monks were forest dwellers and alms food eaters and red robe wearers, etc., and praised these practices. Then the Buddha continued. Then when a monk was a forest dweller and spoke in praise of forest dwelling, when he was alms food eater and spoke of alms food practice, when he was energetic and spoke in praise of arousing energy, etc., the elder monks would invite him to a seat, saying, "Come, monk, what is this monk's name? This is an excellent monk. This monk is keen on training. Come, monk, here's a seat, sit down." Then it would occur to the newly ordained monks. It seems that when a monk is a forest dweller and speaks in praise of forest dwelling, when he is an alms food eater and speaks in praise of eating alms food, when he is energetic and speaks in praise of arousing energy, etc., the elder monks invite him to a seat and praise him. They would practice accordingly, and that would lead to their welfare and happiness for a long time. But now, Kassapa, the elder monks are no longer forest dwellers and do not speak in praise of forest dwelling. They are no longer alms food eaters and do not speak in praise of eating alms food, etc. They are no longer energetic and do not speak in praise of arousing energy. Now it is the monk who is well known and famous, one who gains robes, alms food, lodgings, and medicinal requisites, that the elder monks invite to a seat, saying, "Come, monk, what is this monk's name? This is an excellent monk. This monk is keen on the company of his brothers in the holy life. Come, monk, here's a seat, sit down." Then it occurs to the newly ordained monks, It seems that when a monk is well known and famous, one who gains robes, alms, food, lodgings, and medicines, the elder monks invite him to a seat and praise him. And they practice accordingly, and that leads to their harm and suffering for a long time. If Kassapa, one speaking rightly, could say, those leading the holy life have been ruined by those who lead the holy life. Those leading the holy life have been vanquished by those who lead the holy life. It is just thus that one could rightly say this. You see at the end, actually the book here, and they write, those leading the holy life have been ruined by the ruination of those who lead the holy life. Those leading the holy life have been vanquished by the vanquishing of those who lead the holy life. But I think this is wrong, because there are other suttas which show that the decline of the sasana is due to the monks themselves. The monks themselves, by showing bad example and writing new sutras that never existed before and all this thing. Later you'll see under this Samyutta, the Buddha talk about the false Dhamma that would appear, all this. So it is the monks who bring down the sasana. It is also the monks who bring up the sasana. So good monks will bring up the sasana. Evil monks will cause the sasana to decline. Over the span of 2,500 years since the Buddha lived until now, some of our suttas, the discourses, have disappeared. But there are some which are found in Theravada, which are not in Mahayana, and there are some, a small amount, which are found in Mahayana but not found in Theravada. And there's one sutra, seems to be one of the old sutras, which says that the king of the beasts, the lion, he's eaten by the worms or what on his body, meaning to say that our sasana, our Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the sasana is ruined by the monks themselves, those who wear the robes and their behavior is not like the people who are supposed to wear the robes. So here the Buddha is saying that because here in the first part of the sutta, the Buddha is saying formerly the monks were ascetic monks, they were forest dwellers, alms food eaters and all that. But nowadays they are greedy. Instead of praising the ascetic monks, they praise the monks who are famous and get a lot of offerings. And they want to know the monk's name and offer him a seat and all that. And then the younger monks, when they see this, the elder monks respect a famous monk, they will also practice accordingly and want to become famous. So nowadays you can see many monks are like that. Very few monks will want to live in the forest and practice the ascetic practices. So it's very good if more forest monasteries form for monks to practice according to original Buddhism. 16.9 at Savatthi, the Buddha said, monks, to whatever extent I wish, secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, I enter and dwell in the first jhana. This is accompanied by thought. Here it is accompanied by thought and examination. Actually, it should be accompanied by thought directed and sustained, with rapture and happiness born of seclusion. Kassapa too, to whatever extent he wishes, secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, enters and dwells in the first jhana. Monks, to whatever extent I wish, with the subsiding of thought directed and sustained, I enter and dwell in the second jhana. which has internal confidence and unification of mind, is without